It's the video you've all been waiting for. We're going to be discussing Signet rings and formations in Age of Empires Mobile because the game has developed a long way, and a lot of you guys have been asking me, what rings would you be putting on these formations? And more importantly, what if I've only got one Radiant Guardian, for example, and I need to put it on one of these champions? So we're going to go over that all in today's video. So smash a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's dive into some Age of Empires Mobile, guys. So the way we're going to do this, and the way I thought is the best way of doing it, is kind of showing the, I would say, meta 5 main matches that I would consider most of you are running. So most of you watching this video probably running at least one of these matches, and if you're not, it's probably going to be either a Hannibal match, a Sun Tzu match, and I think that's it. That's probably it. And they're the only two I'm thinking of, right? So we're coming down these in order. So we've got the Warrior Infantry here, right? Then we've got the Lubu here, the main one what a lot of you guys, especially free-to-players, are running. So this is your cavalry kind of crit march. Down in the third slot, we'll talk about it, but we do have the good old MGE Ramcam Julia Caesar March. Then in number 4 is your Mulan, or for a lot of free-to-play players, the free-to-play Warrior Archer build. So you could be running something like Bellevue with your Josephine, and then maybe in the future you might run something like Mehmed II in there, just to give you guys a little bit of advice. And then on the 5th slot, the good old pikemen. So you've got warrior pikemen, as you guessed, warrior archers, warrior cavalry, warrior infantry, because to be honest, a lot of the best marchers right now, especially in the early game, are warrior-based marchers. So that's kind of what we're going to be going over in this video mainly. If you want me to do another follow-up, let me know. If you want me to cover Hannibal, Sun Tzu, and all the other matches we haven't covered, like even Suleiman, we can do that. We can do that, right? So let's dive into this one. Let's not make it too long. So the first one, Miyamoto, Tribuana, and Yodit. What Signet rings can you be running on these heroes? So the thing is, when you go to put rings on heroes, or when you're unlocking rings, always try to find rings that are very flexible that you can put on a multitude of heroes. So you can see here, already I'm a Miyamoto, I have the ring of the lion, we've got Tribuana with the ring of the deer, and then even Yodit rocking a blue ring, because a lot of the blue rings you can just whack on and actually level these bad boys up really quickly to like level 20, 30, honestly, insanely quick, and actually just hit people pretty hard with some easy stats that you've gained while you're waiting for obviously a purple or legendary ring. So let's go over some rings that you can actually use on this setup, right? Because we've got the Ring of the Lion. This increases the might of the heroes, and if you guys don't know, at max ranks this is giving you 65 extra attributes on all of the stats. So that's why you can put this on any of the heroes. I typically put it on the main damage dealer, or if you're having troubles, and this is what's kind of cool, if you are having troubles with might in your lineups and you need a commander with a bit of might, this is going to increase it. So this could be the way you hit certain thresholds for certain builds. But if we come up, we can definitely think of Tranquil Water. This is going to be a fantastic ring that you could be putting on the support of your infantry march. Just making sure you guys don't take damage is key, even in your infantry. So having Tranquil Water is a good go-to pick for them. But coming down into these different legendary slots, which ones would you go for, Sneaks? Because a lot of you guys know, if you go into the Skyward Knight, you reduce the hero's damage dealt by 15%, but you increase your commander's damage by 3.2 and their signature activation chance. This is really powerful in the right lineups, and you could definitely be running this in your build. But I honestly do think there's just cheaper alternatives which can just do a good job, and a really good one is, as you guys probably guessed it, the Effulgent Sun. This one honestly doesn't get enough credit, and even me, I kind of throw it on the side a lot of the times, but this is giving you skill damage bonus, which is actually really good for the amount of damage you're machine gunning out with that Miyamoto and obviously the Yodit there too, you're honestly machine gunning quite a lot of damage out, and having an increase in skill damage is actually really, really powerful. On top of that, you get the actual ring ability, which is a massive bop if you guys never know. 400% at max rank, and it's a 30% activation chance. So if any out of nowhere, you can just absolutely just cane someone for a truck ton of damage. It's not too bad, honestly. It's not too bad on this, and I would honestly probably go for this on my Miyamoto match, and this is probably one route I think I am going to go down just because it's super cheap, it gives us some really good stats, and it honestly does an obscene amount of damage. But then you're probably looking at other rings. What other rings could you get? I would say Lofty Mountain, again, pretty good ring overall. This is just going to give you, again, reduction in damage and then increase the amount of damage you deal depending on how long you're out there for. And even Scorching Flame, not too bad. Whenever you use that commander skill, you are increasing all of your heroes' might by a flat percentage, which could give you that tide change. So you could put this on potentially Yodit, for an example, but it does put it on commander's damage, so you probably need this on, I would say, your Miyamoto, and then run maybe the Effulgent Sun on that Yodit, and then you could have like Lofty Mountain or Tranquil Water on Tribuana, and that's a 1.6k setup there on 3 different rings, just to give you guys a little perspective. But a lot of you guys may not have that budget, right? So we're going to come down into the budget rings that you can actually use on this match, right? This one isn't too bad. Reducing your might by 20 and then increasing the commander's reducing the armor, should I say, and increasing the commander's might is a really good trade-off in this game, because the thing is, at max ranks, it's still 20 armor, guys. So no matter what rank you have this, you're always gaining a bonus, and having 105 might is ridiculous to put onto your hero. That means they're going to hit so much harder compared to before, and on top of this, even the Ring of the Bear does give you commander might damage. So again, all of your might based skills are just getting increased. So it's a really good budget ring that you could be putting on here, right? The Ring of the Falcon, again, another really good budget ring in the right cases. So if you are running more of a tenacity build potentially on that Tribuana with Kingsblade, I want to say, you could run that Ring of the Falcon to give you that extra healing effect, just to give you a little bit more power into it. But the actual ring ability is really, really good. I'm going to be honest, it does technically self-work itself, increases its own health and healing rate when it goes into it, but it's just a really good safety ring. So if you've got this ring unlocked, you can definitely put this on the Tribuana. You can even probably put this on the Yodit just to fill that supportive slot, and you're going to be good as golden. Apart from that, the only other one that I would recommend, and it sounds crazy, but it is that Ring of the Badger. If you're an infantry player, you are going to be going against a lot of, like we've gone through, Hannibals. You could be going through a lot of Mulans. You could be going through a lot of Bellevues. You could be going through a lot of, everything. There's a lot of the powerful marchers in this game that use troop normal attack and secondary strike skill damage, So being able to reduce all of that damage in your infantry lineup is so key. It's going to allow you to actually potentially almost trade with your counterparts. Definitely if you've got better rings, definitely if you've got the better gear, you're going to feel actually quite powerful for having this on. So I just wanted to actually put this Ring of the Badger as an honorable mention, because it is actually a really good ring if you are going against tons of normal attack based heroes. Reducing, again, all of that damage taken is so good. And then apart from that, there's some blue rings, right? And the blue rings you could always rock on any march, and I'm going to obviously say this now, is going to be that Ring of the Lily, recovering your troops, really good. Ring of the Clover, reducing, again, damage taken, really good. And then the one we've got on is Ring of the Tulip. This actually just deals might damage to the enemy troop. It's basically a very, very bad version, as you can imagine, of the good old Effulgent Sun, right? Just like a really bad version of it, right? So we're going to just use that for now. It's okay, it's nice, it is a nice little bit of might damage to them, but it just showcases you can use these for just a slot while you're waiting to upgrade them. So that is kind of hopefully all of the infantry ones covered. And if you want to run, you know, different rings, I'd love to hear your comments down below. But we're going to move on to the next formation, guys, the next formation. So this is where things are going to get really, really spicy. And I know a lot of questions are going to come because we're going to cover basically these two marches at the exact same time. Because this is where a lot of you guys ask, what do you do if you've got a Lubu, Guan Yu, and Attila, and you've got a Mulan, Bellevue, Ranit, or, you know, whatever line you're running with Mulan? What do you do there? Because that is where a lot of people are struggling to figure out the puzzle, the key piece. So the thing is, with Lubu, right, you can see what I've got on him right now, and we're going to be changing this to showcase what you should be doing for your account. But the thing is, with Lubu, as well as Guan Yu, and as you guys know, with Attila, they're all about crit. They want as much crit on them as possible. The more crit they do, the better they're gonna have just have a good time, right? Having a good time. So the thing is with Lubu, when you go into his ring choices, you can see Ring of the Daisy honestly isn't a bad one. This is just giving you that extra bit of normal attack damage, kind of what you're doing anyway in the lineup, right? However, there is a ring that you can grab, which I don't even have, which is increasing the critical strike rate. This is a super budget ring you could put on the Lubu for now, right? And we're going to work up from here because this is probably where a lot of it will shine on, right? You could also put this ring, if you guys wanted to, once you got an upgraded ring on the Lubu, shift it over to the Attila or shift it over to the Guan Yu. Increasing their crit rate is key for that Lubu march. It allows Lubu to absolutely chunk someone for almost half their HP, almost to a third sometimes on a more consistent basis, right? It's just ridiculous how much damage it does, right? And then you start to come into the other rings. And I will say, again, just an honorable mention, Ring of the Falcon. If you have this and you don't have anything equipped, just putting this on the Attila is going to allow you to have basically, again, a budget reduction. You need some sort of survivability in this march because if you don't, you're gonna die. I'm telling you, you're a glass cannon, so you need some survivability. So having this on anyone apart from the Lubu is gonna benefit the march, right? Then we've got the Ring of the Bear. This is a really good go-to #1 ring you can put onto your Lubu or, again, your Guan Yu. These two guys can have this. It's just increasing the might of your command. It's going to basically just do so much damage, again, for your march. But now we're going to go into the real bread of the butter. Lofty Mountain and Tranquil Water is just two rings I would just say right now you would want on this march. Just put that on the Guan Yu and on the Attila. You're going to thank me. You need that, honestly, survivability. And this, honestly, reducing the damage you take, especially against the mirror matches, honestly dictates who wins. And then, as you guys know, you've got the Radiant Guardian. Radiant Guardian is going to be most likely on your Lubu, right? So we're going to put that on him just to showcase what you're going to do, right? So Lubu will have this Radiant Guardian on him, right? Then your Mulan basically runs the exact same rings as him. And you guys are probably wondering, what do you do now with that champion? Well, what I would do, and this is a really good alternative ring for the Mulan now, is, as you guys can imagine, Ring of the Nightwolf. You want to put this Ring of the Nightwolf on because you are hitting normal attacks like it's no tomorrow, dude. It's so good. So equipping this onto your Mulan gives her, honestly, an absurdly powerful skill still on her kit. And what you only need to do with the other two heroes, just like you are doing already on the good old Lubu match, when we go back over to it now, you just want some good two rings that are just fit for purpose, right? They could be any two rings that are fit for purpose. So for argument's sake, so our Attila here, if we just switch this around too, and we put, I don't know, Ring of the Lion onto him, right? And we put this Ring of the Lion onto him, so he's got even more might. He's doing as much work as he can. And then we go to Guan Yu and we put on Tranquil Water just to give him that survivability, because we need that survivability, right, in the match. Now you're like, okay, this match is looking a lot better. This match feels a lot better on paper. Now let's go over to the Mulan and let's see what damage is done, because we've got 2 rings we need to figure out what to put on. Well, Bellevue is easy to decide on, right? Because we can put on straight away Ring of the Daisy. After launching a normal attack, deals might damage to an enemy troop. You could also, just to give you guys heads up, you could put up on, again, Ring of the Bear. If you've got the Ring of the Bear here, whack that bad boy on. That's going to do so much work for your march. You're going to thank me for it, right? So Ring of the Bear, you can whack that on. But for us, just to put it out there, just to showcase like what we're going to do here, right? We're going to put on, like I said, the Ring of the Daisy, and that's going to be equipped on, so that's going to give us that normal attack. And then when it comes to our Rane, we could do a bunch of different things, to be honest. I will be real. We could go down the deer route just to honestly be more glass cannon as possible on the march. But we do have the Ring of the Crow here, and this is the one I am going to use because it is just like a tempo swing based ring. But if I wanted to, again, Ring of the Falcon here would be amazing, right? Just having that effect of recovering my troops or reducing the damage taken by a flat amount is just so nice on the march. Just having that ability is just going to give you that little bit of sustain on there, right? So this is the thing that you can do, and this is what a lot of people have been asking me when it comes to these marches. What are the best rings? How are you going to do these rings on them? Because you've only got one Radiant Guardian. You really want that Radiant Guardian on your good old Lubu. So how do you deal with the Mulan? Well, this is the way I would deal with it, and it is with the Nightwolf. Nightwolf is going to be the key piece on this whole Signet ring puzzle piece, right? And that's just my opinion on the matter, right? If you are figuring out what other rings you could put on, honestly, I would just say something like the Scorching Flame isn't too bad either, because you're going to be firing off that commander skill all the time. So you could be putting that as an upgrade on the Bellevue instead, and that would be a legendary ring in that slot, right? So that just kind of showcases already there. We've answered hopefully what rings you need for Mulan, Bellevue, Rane, or a Mulan or a Warrior Archer March. And then we've answered the Warrior Cavalry March, and we've answered how you run them both together. Because the thing is, both marches, guys, run the exact same rings. I'm telling you, you can run any rings pretty much interchangeable on them, and you're having a good time. You're having an absolutely good time. And again, if you want to get any upgrades, one really good upgrade would be that Lofty Mountain. Having that Lofty Mountain on the Attila would be amazing, because you wouldn't have to worry about any other rings ever again on him. You can just run that one ring and you're good to go, right? So now we've only got 2 marches left, which is the Warrior Pikeman and then the good old Julius Caesar turn-based pikeman. So let's change it up. Let's kind of shift gear into some martial guys, right? Some martial, because you can see I don't have any rings on these, and you're probably wondering, what am I going to be going for? Well, I'll explain. So Julius Caesar on here could have a variety of rings. I'm going to be real. You could go for more might damage again, because you are a might-based commander, right? So when you are looking around these skills, just to kind of explain them, the Everflame Wings is a burn effect. You kind of want to use this on other heroes that require burn. A lot of the tacticians like that kind of style, so that's kind of going to like a no-go zone for us, right? Sacred Sage, though, is, as you guys know, the best ring in slot, no matter what, for a martial pikeman. So you are going to need to unlock this ring for the march. Where do you put it? That's entirely up to you. On my guide that's going to be coming out soon, I do recommend putting it on the Octavian. He just does an absurd amount of damage, and you can see Iron Coordination just to give you even more, obviously, turn-based skill damage. So I kind of make sure he is that role as a buffer. That's kind of what he does. He buffs and then hits really hard with his main skill. So you could put the Sacred Sage on Octavian. You could even put it on Julius Caesar. So I'd put it on one of those two heroes. It's up to you who you're going to put it on, right? Then it comes into now Ramcam and the other two rings that you would be equipping. So when it comes to these rings, I would suggest, again, it sounds crazy, but it is going to be more survivability. Tranquil Water, Lofty Mountain, really good rings that you could be equipping onto this march. For more budget options, again, we've still got that Ring of the Lily. Having that recovery in your kit, just having something there is better than nothing. That's the one thing a lot of people don't realize. Having that just a little bit extra might win you those fights. So perfectly good ring for us. Again, another perfectly good ring, Ring of the Clover. Reducing the amount of damage we take is key, and it's a 50% chance of doing so. It's so good, guys. Even when we go to the max level, because I haven't really given the love to the rare rings, but guys, it's a level 30 ring. You're gonna get some nice attributes, but 25% reduction is just nice. You can't complain. You cannot complain. So having these reduction based rings, so Ring of the Clover, even Ring of the Lily in this slot, right? Coming back down into here, as you can imagine, Lofty Mountain would be a fantastic choice here for our march, right? It's going to be really, really, really good. In our march as well, we're going to be turn-based skills, and this is going to give you a little bit of a spoiler, so we don't need to worry about stuff like Messenger of Destruction and even Skyward Knight. We don't really need to care about this either. This could be a cool one maybe in the future, but I am not going to suggest this for your march. Lords of the Heaven does do, again, like some really interesting stuff for the right marches, and you could put this arguably on even Lubu if you really wanted to, just to free up that Radiant Guardian, and you can put that Radiant Guardian on the Mulan, but I wouldn't do that. It's a really expensive ring. Some people might have their own thoughts on this. I'd love to hear down below, but again, turn-based pikeman, you don't really need this. Again, it's just too expensive for you. When it comes to the 1.6k kind of rings now, this isn't what you care about either. Strategy damage isn't what you actually scale on, even though you have a nice like mixture of stats. The thing is, you honestly do a ton of might-based damage. I'll be real, it's a lot of might-based damage in the reports. So you could go down, if you really wanted to, that Effulgent Sun route again as a damage-based ring. But that would mean you're in two damage-based rings as the Sacred Sage, the Effulgent Sun. So I would go down, obviously, the third ring being some sort of reduction. And you can't go wrong with that Ring of the Badger. You can't go wrong with the Ring of the Falcon on these two. These are just going to be two really good, just purple-based rings you can whack on any, again, march generally, and just get that tanking up on the field. So, as you can see there, turn-based pikemen don't have too much options, I'll be honest. You're going to be rocking Sacred Sage, and then it's up to you how budget friendly you want to be. If you want a rare ring with an epic ring, or two epic rings, or a legendary ring with an epic ring again, so you're in two. That's all on you, right? But you're going to be running some sort of combination of the Ring of the Badger, that Ring of the Falcon. Obviously, we've gone through the good old Sacred Sage, but then Ring of the Lily, Ring of the Clover, right? And then we've got Lofty Mountain and the good old Tranquil Water at the top. So those are basically other two rings that you're going to be rocking on this march, right? And that's kind of going to almost mimic into the final one. And I know it's been a long road, but we're here for all those Warrior Pikeman mains. What rings do you run? And the thing is, Warrior Pikemen are absolutely insane, especially late game, because once they get that gear and once they get their rings and those rings are leveled up, I am telling you, they become a menace to society. They're the one unit that feels like early game they get kind of slapped around, mid game they kind of hold their own pretty well, late game they become a different animal. And that is because the first thing I will always tell you, no matter what, you need Messenger of Destruction, guys. This ring is just broken when you have this equipped on your Richard. Because the thing is, with this ring, no matter what, guys, when you look at this, you reduce the damage of all your heroes' normal attacks by 20%. You could not care at all. That would matter if you're a Lubu, if you're a Hannibal, if you're a Mulan, Bellevue, you name it. Those attack-based marchers would care so much. But we don't. We do not care because we're passive-based damage, baby. And you get a 14.25% at level 1, which goes to 75%. One of the biggest increases in the game, by the way. And it's 100% activation chance. Insane. Absolutely, bro. I don't even need to say any more about this ring, right? 75% increased damage on your passive-based skills, which is what all you do as a warrior pikeman. Yeah, it is the best ring in slot. You cannot replace this, right? But now you get the juiciness. You got 2 other slots on your good old warrior pikeman. And warrior pikemen have some amazing rings that you could be picking up straight away. Ring of the Ball, another amazing ring that you could be pairing with that Messenger of Destruction, by the way, for your march. And when you get this bad boy up, as you guys can read, this is increasing your troops' passive skill damage again once they fall below 60%. The thing is, as you guys know, Richard, Leonidas, and a lot of these heroes have clauses in their skills. When they fall below 50%, 60%, 75%, they do certain upgrades on their abilities. So this plays perfectly in hand with your march. And when you get it maxed out, it's an additional 42%. So with this ring and Messenger of Destruction, if you guys have been calculating it, you've got 75%. Then you've got, what, 105, 117, if I've calculated that right. I might have added an extra 10% if I have, my bad, right? But I'm sure 117% increased passive damage. Bonkers. And then what's beautiful about pikemen is if you didn't want to go down this route, you still have the best of the best survivability rings, right? You take full advantage of the Ring of the Falcon because you can definitely run tenacity builds with this and get the reduced damage and the recovery bonus from it. Again, Ring of the Badger, absolutely perfect ring for your good old warrior pikeman. Some people do like, as well as an honorable mention, the Ring of the Lion. This is just, again, just raw stats. And again, it's kind of throwing this out there for, you know, the last formation and another highlight. You can run this ring on any march, guys. Any march. So just remember that, right? So really, really good. And apart from that, though, you know, if you want to run those epic rings, it's going to be survivability. So again, as we're kind of going down, Tranquil Water, really good combo with, obviously, Lofty Mountain. So you could run Messenger Destruction. These 2 rings at level 10 is enough. I'm telling you, they're going to be enough for a majority of players. And then work on that Messenger Destruction. Get it to like level 20, level 30, stop. Get the Lofty Mountain, Tranquil Water to level 20, stop, right? That's how you want to progress these types of rings if you're going to go down that route. But again, Warrior Pikeman, if you've not seen it, I absolutely adore you guys, even though I'm not a Warrior Pikeman main myself. The ring choices are crazy for you guys. So hopefully in this video now, no matter what, I have gone over what I would consider the 5 main meta kind of hero marches that majority of players are playing. And again, going to be building on their account when they first play through the first season, second season, and going into now the 3rd season, where you're looking for heroes to replace stuff like Joan of Arc for Mansa Musa, right? You've got all these heroes coming in. You've even got Mehmed II that could easily fill this Rani slot if you don't have access to Rani. Even again, up in here, if you've only got Yodi Tribuana, well, Mehmed II could be a really potential good option in there too. We don't know yet. We're going to have to do a load of testing on there, and there's going to be so many more heroes to come, right? So that's what's so fun about Age of Empires Mobile, right? So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Hopefully we've helped you out with all of the different formations that we've gone over. If I've missed any, put it in the comment section down below. Maybe the next 5 formations you want us to cover on the channel, and we can do it again. We can follow it up with another video with 5 more formations, the best rings to be running in them, and give you guys hopefully a better explanation that we've done in prior videos. So with that, smash the like, comment, and subscribe. Till the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys. Peace out.